guys, we're Sophia, Brendan, and our dog Bernie, and for the last 3 years, we've been traveling North America in our big blue converted school bus and our little blue Jeep. You're about to watch part 2 of our time at Baja, so if you haven't already watched part 1, make sure to go back and check that out. When we left you last, we had just had an incredible week in Bahia Concepcion at a sandbar beach called Playa Pichilingue. We hung out with friends, went clam hunting, found an octopus and her babies hidden in a clamshell, and we even saw bioluminescence in the water. After that wonderful week, it was time to say goodbye and start heading further down the peninsula. In this episode, we'll be giving you a glimpse of our life in Mexico, showing you what it's really like to navigate everyday tasks and our appointments, what it's like to camp on a free beach, and then taking you along as we dive into 2 breathtaking underwater adventures. And of course, there'll be so much more in between. So, let's dive in. After we left Bahia Concepcion, we drove 6 hours straight and finally arrived in La Paz, the capital of the state of Baja California Sur. We arrived a little after sunset and we quickly made our way to Playa Pichilingue, which is about 15 minutes from the city. This is a free beach that is usually empty on weekdays but really busy on the weekends. We were here during the week, so it was perfect. We actually only spent 3 days at this beach, and we didn't really do anything exciting because we mostly focused on catching up on work. But I absolutely had to mention this place because this is where Bernie first taught himself to fish. Tell me what Bernie is doing.
Bernie's fishing. It's his new favorite thing. He just loves it. He goes out there. There's just so many little fish, big fish, and he follows them around until he scares them off. Sometimes he thinks he's gonna get them, but
look at his tail go. Oh my gosh, he's adorable. The water here is super clear, so I think he started noticing the fish and started chasing them. And from then on, anytime he's near water, he spends his entire day from sunrise all the way to sunset in the water fishing. He also quickly realized that trying to smell the fish underwater was proving to be an unsuccessful strategy. After 3 days at this beach, we left Pichilingue to head back into town so we could be closer to all of our upcoming appointments. First thing on our appointment list was our dentist visits, and when I say our, I really mean it because not only did Brennan and I have dentist appointments scheduled, Bernie did too. We are on our way to
take Bernie to the dentist.
He's gonna get put under anesthesia. And they're gonna put him under and clean his teeth. Honestly, I think that we might get there and they might say that his teeth are already a little bit too clean because he's still a puppy. But we'll see. Either way, we're gonna do blood tests and just to check up because it's so much cheaper in Mexico than it is in Canada and the US. And he's going to the dentist. Tell me what's going on.
I'm a little nervous, and Bernie is too.
We're at the vet. Throughout the procedure, the vets provided us with multiple updates, and they even sent us a video of him on the table getting his teeth cleaned. They were so incredibly kind to us, and they were really understanding of our nervousness. I'm so thankful we had such a wonderful vet team working on our boy. After the procedure, they even allowed us to be in the room with Bernie to comfort him as he started to wake up. Thank you so much. Good care of him. The total cost for the procedure was $250, and that included the teeth cleaning, a checkup, routine blood tests, and 2 doses of his flea and tick medication. This would have cost us upwards of $1,500 back home. I think you need to pick him up here. I feel like he's getting better.
Yeah, this is the first tail wag I've seen.
Yeah. We're home! We're home, Noodle! We're home! And you're gonna be okay. And we're not not gonna bring you back to the vet for a very long time. Do you wanna lie down? Do you wanna try? A few days after Bernie's dentist appointment, it was our turn to go in for a cleaning. So I just went to the dentist across the street, and Bernie is in the water, chilling. Well, it's Brennan's turn at the dentist. It costs us significantly less to do our dental in Mexico, so every year we come see this dentist. He speaks great English, his tech is really advanced, and overall, I'd say our care has been very comparable to what we receive back home. Bernie's getting groomed. He hates getting groomed.
He hates getting groomed.
The last thing on our appointment list was Bernie's grooming. With the heat and his daily swims, we decided to trim his coat nice and short. In Mexico, the groomers actually let you stay with your dog, which is great since Bernie stays calmer when we're there. Unfortunately, I think we went a little bit too short because we started noticing that after spending all day fishing in the sun, he was getting red and irritated sunburn spots on his white patches. Thanks to advice from friends, we applied aloe and had him wear a shirt overnight.
Okay. Are you milking your sunburn?
Oh, did you get a bad sunburn, Noogs? Poor baby. During the day, when he was out fishing, we put a children's SPF rash guard on him, which looked so frickin' cute, and I think he actually enjoyed it. And then we also applied dog sunscreen to his nose multiple times a day, much to his dismay. A few days after Bernie's grooming appointment, we were all set for 2 diving tours, but our plans quickly changed. I suddenly got so sick and we had to cancel everything. My fever spiked over 102, and then Brennan came down with it even worse, with his fever going past 104. This is what a sick day. Brennan's fever got so bad that on the 3rd day of him being sick at 4 a.m., we decided to head to the hospital. They admitted him right away and worked on bringing down his temperature with IV fluids and even covered his entire body in ice. He was kept there for the entire day. The doctor suspected a bacterial infection from environmental contamination, which isn't uncommon in areas with poor sewage management. During the dry and windy season, contaminated dust can become airborne, leading to exposure to bacteria like E. coli. Despite the language barrier, the doctor prescribed us some antibiotics and fever relief, and we spent the next week and a half completely bedridden, too weak to do much of anything. I wish I'd filmed more of our time in the hospital to show you what the facilities actually looked like. It was actually really nice with a comfortable sofa where I could rest while Brennan was being treated. Unfortunately, I was just too sick to capture much footage. The total bill for Brennan's 10-hour hospital stay was $438, and thankfully he was admitted and treated pretty much immediately. After 2 rough weeks of being sick, we were finally ready to check off 2 amazing diving tours from our bucket list. The first one being a dive with sea lions. Last year, while we were in Mexico, we decided to get Patty certified at Cabo Pulmo National Park so that we could do all the cool dives we had planned for this year. On Wednesday, we took our day off and hopped on a boat with our dive group and headed out to Jacques Cousteau's favorite island, which he actually called the Aquarium of the World. As soon as we left the marina, dolphins started playing in our wake and circling the boat. It was such a cool moment, and it definitely set the tone for an incredible day of diving. When we got to the island, we were immediately greeted by dozens of sea lions sunbathing on the rocks and playfully splashing around in the water. It was an amazing sight, but also a little bit intimidating, knowing that in 3 days it was the start of mating season. And during mating season, they shut down diving tours because the sea lions can get pretty aggressive. So I have to admit, we were a little bit nervous about jumping in with them with such a tight deadline. Before mating season, let's hope they don't eat your face off. We made sure our gear was on properly, we did a quick fit check, and then we shaked off all of our stress before jumping into the water. We are doing it! We're going diving with sea lions and I'm so nervous! As soon as we dove down underwater, we were captivated by the vibrant sea life all around us. There were hundreds of colorful fish, sea stars, and urchins, and the coral was so abundant and vibrant that we could actually hear it crackling underwater. Within a few minutes of us being underwater, 2 female sea lions swam right past us and began playing in a nearby cove. It was really fun to watch them play together. They really just reminded me of dogs or puppies playing. It definitely makes sense why so many people call sea lions ocean puppies or sea puppies. When they stopped playing, I then had one of the coolest wildlife encounters in my life. While I was filming them, one of the sea lions got curious and swam right up to me, playfully interacting with my GoPro and even trying to eat it at some points. It was such a cool moment for me to have her so close and so personal. I could just see every single part of her face, her teeth. It was such an incredible moment. During our dives, we swam with a few more sea lions, saw so many more fish, and soon it was time to get back into the boat. Around 2 p.m., we started heading back to La Paz. Super excited to see Bernie after leaving him alone in the bus for 6 hours. We usually take him everywhere, so that was a long time for him. But don't worry, the bus has AC, and we kept checking in on him through the cameras. As we got close to land, we actually spotted the bus from the boat. And so we asked the driver to drop me off right at the beach so I could let Bernie out, while Brendan would take the Jeep back from the marina. The driver was super cool with it and then dropped me off right at our beach house. We're finishing our tour and they're gonna drop us off at our beach spot. I'm gonna leave you with all of this, okay?
Okay. Bye, Sophia. Yeah, it'll be great. Bye, Sophia.
Bernie was very excited to see us, as per usual, and I was really glad I could let him out an hour before, since it would have taken us about that to get back to the marina in the boat, and then drive back from the city to the beach at rush hour.
Okay, see you in like an hour.
We just finished an amazing tour, snorkeling and diving with sea lions, and the boat, I don't know if you can see the boat, but they just dropped us off right at the bus, so that was so cool. When Brendan got back, we were exhausted, so we just chilled on our beach blanket outside. I read my book, and Brendan got a nice nap in. And then, as we were just relaxing, we noticed that there were paragliders taking off right behind our bus. If we weren't as tired, we would have definitely asked them if we could do it with them because it looked so cool. And just like that, another sunset marked the end of our first dive day this week. A few days after our sea lion dives, we set our alarms for a 5 a.m. wake-up time. This time to hop on a boat leaving from La Ventana and heading to find a rare and remarkable natural phenomenon called the Mobula ray migration. The migration of these flying rays only happens between May and July in the Sea of Cortez in Mexico. After boating and looking for the rays for approximately 40 minutes, we saw something hopping out of the water nearby, and as we got closer, we could definitely tell that we were approaching our first school of rays. We immediately flew the drone to see if it was only a few of them or if it was a larger group of rays. And as you can see, we hit the jackpot because there were hundreds, if not thousands of Mobula rays under the water. So we put our snorkels on and jumped in to see if we could swim along with them and see them with our own eyes. Guys, I don't think I'll ever be able to describe this feeling. It felt like I had just jumped into a National Geographic magazine. Right there, so close to the surface of the water, were these beautiful rays, hundreds of them, surrounding us and swimming so peacefully. It was such an incredible sight and feeling. Our guide was a professional freediver, and so she took an Insta360 camera on her dive down to try and capture the immenseness of this school of rays. She was so incredible, she stayed underwater for over 2.5 minutes and captured this beautiful footage of the rays. Alright, tell me how our first dive went with the Mobula rays.
It was really, really good. It was really cool to see so many of them.
There were so many.
And they're just like hanging out, they love you.
Knowing we would probably not find another school of rays that big, our group made the decision to leave this pod of Mobula rays and head out looking for the orcas that our guides saw the day before. As we were looking out in the water trying to find these orcas, we spotted quite a few fins out in the distance. We made our way over slowly, and suddenly we were surrounded by a large pod of dolphins.
Oh my goodness, there's so many.
Somehow, every time we blinked, it looked like they were multiplying. They were getting so close to the boat and they were playfully swimming all around us. It was honestly so surreal and so magical to witness this. Wow. The guide asked us if we wanted to try swimming with them, which we absolutely could not say no to.
What are you doing?
I'm going to try to swim. I'm going to catch a dolphin.
With your bare hands.
Our guide told us to get into the water slowly and to try not to make much of a splash, which unfortunately was unsuccessful due to Brendan's clumsiness.
Oh my god.
But even with the splash, the group was able to get pretty close to the dolphin pod, which was super cool. After swimming with them multiple times, everyone got back into the boat and then we started to make our way back to land.
How was your swim?
When we got back, we hopped into the Jeep to drive back to the bus. Excited, as always, to see Bernie. But then, this happened.
Did you copy the license?
No. Do you have your health card?
I don't have my wallet.
We obviously did not film the whole interaction, but here's basically what happened. They accused us of speeding, which we were not. It was clear that they targeted us because our Canadian license plate and the Jeep look a little bit different. And after some back and forth, they asked Brendan's license, which, as you know, we did not have. And that was completely our fault. They told us to go to the police station the next morning to pay the fine, but Brendan had a 7:30 a.m. flight out of Cabo for his work conference in Texas, so that was not an option, and we told them that. So instead, they asked for $100 cash, which we knew was likely a bribe. I only had $25 in my actual wallet, the rest of my cash was hidden in a secret pocket in my purse, so we handed over the $25, told them that was all we got, and they accepted, and then we both went our separate ways. We finally got back to Bernie and let him out. And then I went inside to take a shower and discovered how bad I burned throughout the day, which almost made no sense since I was in my wetsuit about 98% of the day. Later that evening, I made some dinner while Brendan went out at sunset to run Bernie with the one wheel, since Bernie didn't get too many steps in today while we were gone. And that was pretty much the end of our day. We had such a wonderful time seeing the Mobula rays and the dolphins, and it's something we will never forget. The next morning, I drove Brendan to the Cabo airport for his flight to Austin, Texas for the Consensus Crypto Conference. On my way home, I stopped at Costco to pick up a few things and just look at the view from the parking lot. I think this may be the prettiest Costco location ever. I then drove home a little bit nervous about spending the next week alone on the beach in Mexico, but also looking forward to some alone time to focus on me, spending time with Bernie, and my editing. I took that week really easy. I just spent most of my time really appreciating living in the bus and living on the beach. For some reason, this week, it was really hitting me how amazing our life was, and even the massive amounts of sand in the bus didn't seem to bother me that much. Yup, there really is that much sand sometimes when you live right on the beach with a really shaggy dog. One of the things that just never fails to amaze me is like, this is my house, and this is my desk, like my work desk. I work here, and that's my view. That's my dog playing in the water. But like, that's my house, and like, I live here for free? What? I know it's been 3 years, but what? Everything in my week alone was going so smoothly. Well, up until the last 2 days.
So, Brendan left for the week for a conference, and obviously I'll be posting this after when he's back. But everything that could possibly go wrong always goes wrong when he's away for conference week. So like our front door, I can't even open it right now because like the door has split in the middle, like where the hinges go, and I don't even know if I should open this, but basically it's just like not attached anymore at the hinges other than the bottom hinge. So we need a new door, which we knew was gonna happen. Then our Starlink, which we usually put up here, broke. Like the cable that we have routed inside and then into that thing broke. So thank God we had a backup one because we're at a beach with no data. And so now I've like rerouted it out here and I have the Starlink set up there. So that was a little bit of a task to figure out what was wrong. And then so what I'm doing right now is that, I don't know if you can see it, but our roof rack, we usually have a rooftop tent on the Jeep, and the roof rack freaking broke. So I can't drive the Jeep anymore with the roof rack on, and so I needed to take down the rooftop tent. I asked some I did the work with the wrenches, and then I asked some random strangers on the beach to help me take it down. Then I have to take the front bar off and take it to a welder. But before that, I need to get a new door because right now, like, I probably have 2 entrances left into that door and then it's done. So yeah, that's my week. Come back, Brendan, I miss you.
I was of course able to figure out a temporary solution for everything, and when Brendan finally got back, we installed the new door, got the roof rack on the Jeep redone, and rerouted the Starlink. We did all of those things, and we also did something a little crazy. Wait.
Guess what we're doing? We just booked our flights from Montreal to Paris, and we've got about 5 days to get to Montreal.
And we're in Cabo, Mexico. So
we gotta drive like hell.
We gotta drive from the tip of Cabo all the way to Montreal to catch our flight to Europe, and then we'll be spending a few weeks in Europe.
This is probably
so exciting.
This is gonna be our coolest video yet. We'll see if we make it.
Thank you so much for watching this week's video. I had a lot of fun editing it.
And I did nothing.
Yeah, pretty true.
Next week, we're gonna see if we can drive from the very bottom of Mexico to the very top of Canada to make our flights.
4 days!
It's gonna be an epic effort.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
All right, we'll see you then. Bye.